Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you, by the way, like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. I'll move past this. Harriet Harrington, this is Liz Harrington, Trump's spokesperson, and Marjorie Taylor Greene on Democrats exploiting COVID and real Jan 6 committee under Republicans. So this is Peter Navarro on a rooftop where he spends most of his time, and Steve Bannon interviewing the three of them. By the way, on mic, live streaming, basically saying their rights of free speech are being denied.
What has to happen first is we have to win.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. So what do you got? What else do you got? I mean, you're going to need a secondary strategy.
And everybody's been talking about, is something going to happen? They're going to try to pull something.
I think there's a chance that Republicans will try and pull something. Like you do realize people on the Republican side have been busted with the software from voting machines.
So I want to start with MTG and then go to Harrington. And
and then if we got time, Navarro.
And Peter, jump in.
Yeah, Peter, they're women, so talk over them.
Last night on 60 Minutes, Joe Biden said the pandemic's over.
Yeah, but we still have to deal with COVID. It's over as a pandemic. Fucko, you guys are outside in front of the Capitol doing a production. Of course it's over. You're not wearing masks, motherfucker. Every time she goes to the Capitol, she doesn't have to wear a mask now. That part of it's done. That's what the vaccinations are for. That we successfully moved past it. There are still people who have issues with it. There's people who have long COVID. There are people who have autoimmune disorders that might be affected by this. But the entire country shut down as concept is done.
The President of the United States, or the guy at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, said...
the President of the United States.
The pandemic's over. Correct?
Yeah, what else did he say? What else did he say, Steve? Hold on one second. Let's see if I can find the video of it. Let's see if they play the whole thing. Hold on one second. Waiting for a commercial to clear, and it will take a good amount of time. Now, did Biden say that? Yes. Is that all he said? No. 3, 2, I'm counting down. One more second of doing the thing. There's a video playing, and I don't know why. Doing and bye. Boop, boop, dope. Boop, 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 dope. Here we go. Pause.
With 60 Minutes, comments he made about the pandemic led stocks of 3 COVID vaccine makers to plunge. Shares
well, what the fuck is Russell Brand going to do videos about now?
Falling as much as 9%. CBS's Ed O'Keefe reports from the White House.
President Biden's conclusion on 60 Minutes Sunday that the COVID pandemic has ended prompted pushback from health experts and clarifications from top officials.
Yeah, clarification.
Pandemic is over. We still have a problem with COVID. We're still doing a lot of work on it. But the pandemic is over.
Right. Technically speaking, the Western world is in the dealing with it phase, in the endemic phase or the function phase, as opposed to it being a pandemic. The actual pandemic materially is over in that regard. The fact that boosters are available, the fact that there's an over-the-counter free medication if you get it. This is such fucking bullshit. And by the way, again, Russell Brand's whole last year of clickbait has been based on the idea that Fauci's a monster. This is all about Democrats controlling your life, and that it'll never end because it's really about mind control. And then Biden catches shit for going, the pandemic as we know it is over. We need, we still got to deal with COVID as it comes up. But yeah, that part of it is done.
Correct me if I'm wrong, MTG. Doesn't he still have an emergency order out there? And that's one of the tricks he's using for the $1 trillion write-off of the deadbeat graduate students.
The deadbeat graduate students. There you go.
Woke graduate students. If Joe Biden...
Oh, deadbeat and woke graduate students.
Said the pandemic's over. Shouldn't the emergency order be lifted right now so we know there can't be any games played about the upcoming election? Ma'am, start with MTG and then go to Liz Harrington.
Yeah, it's the game. That's why he's doing it. He's just raising the emergency order so that he can put it back in right before the election, and we'll all have to vote by mail again during the midterms.
Oh, absolutely, Steve. If the pandemic is over, which, by the way, the pandemic is over.
All right. I'm honest to God. Look at the look on Liz Harrington's face, and look. Oh God, damn it! Oh, so great. Can you think of a better?
Start with MTG and then go to.
I would have gone to Liz first, and then Peter, and then ended with MTG because it wouldn't have.
Go to Liz Harrington.
Oh, absolutely, Steve. If the pandemic is over, which, by the way, the pandemic is over, they need to stop vaccinating people in the military and forcing that to happen on.
Well, no, because that's the way you keep it from spreading in there. The polio pandemic is over, but we still vaccinate kids against it. The fuck's the matter with you?
Anybody. If the
Anybody. No vaccines for anything. Okay?
pandemic's over, then why does Joe Biden want $22 billion for COVID?
So it doesn't come back, fucko.
That is absurd. We should be spending $22 billion
on the border, okay? You want to talk about a disease, a dis-ease at our, yeah.
Secure our southern border.
Right, what'd I say? What did I say?
Joe Biden talks out of one side of his mouth saying one thing, and then he talks about the other side of his mouth saying something out, and then he talks about out of his rear end saying whatever he thinks in his crazy brain.
All right, yeah, I'm with you. I recognize that it was an attempt. You tried. But when you can tell when somebody is in the middle of a talking point that's fading, and they're like, I'm going to have to pull out the kind of the butt joke part of it, not because they're not taking it seriously, because they need to bail themselves out with scat, essentially. Trump does it when he said bullshit in the Ohio rally. He recognized the crowd was smaller than he wanted it to be. The reactions were lower. And so he's like, bullshit. He knows if he swears at least once, they go crazy.
The pandemic is not the issue anymore.
No, it's not. And when Biden says it's not the issue anymore,
it's the Democrats destroying our country is the issue.
Yeah, well, that's what we're running on.
And that's what we need to end right now. So Joe Biden does he even know what he's talking about?
You just agreed with him.
Does he even know?
You just agreed with him.
Liz, what do you think?
Liz, to help me out here, all I can do is agree with Biden about the actual point. Do I even know what I'm saying?
No, it's absolutely absurd. I can't
This is ridiculous.
even believe they trot him out on 60 Minutes. It's embarrassing, and they try to clean it up.
This is the moment we all realize that Liz Harrington has never watched Trump's 60 Minutes interviews.
For every answer that's a disaster. I mean, his
Project much, Liz? Liz is one of the people standing just off screen during a lot of these interviews, including the John Voight thing.
Justice Department, as far as I know, is still in court trying to make us wear masks on airplanes again.
No.
I mean,
No, they're not. Where is that from? We're just digging up talking points from 7 months ago?
they're
From Omicron?
they want, maybe they're,
This is mind control, okay? Glenn Beck is right.
maybe this pandemic is over. Maybe he's gearing up for the next pandemic.
That's what it is. Yeah, they tried it with COVID, and they were like, this is just a dry run. That was a little snotty.
Which he says is coming,
They
right?
tried monkeypox. They tried, but nobody's buying
But
it.
the American people are so wise to what's going on. They do.
Yeah, we're wise to the fact that you're making this up.
Do not trust anyone in this government.
Yeah. Mainly, especially the rhinos.
Certainly not Joe Biden. And I think people are kind of bracing for the next thing that they're going to try to use to take away our freedoms, and the American people, our eyes are open, and we're not going to let it happen again.
Yeah, I always love it when people make up this is sort of what I would call a straw monster argument. You make up a monster. Schenk on TYT does this all the time. Make up an imaginary, horrifying possibility, and that's not going to happen, that somebody you're against is going to do. They're going to try this, you watch. And then, unless we put pressure on them or we let them know we're not going to fall for it. And then you yammer about it for a while. And then when it doesn't happen, because it was never going to happen, you can take credit for the thing that never happened. This is the same shit. They were going to do it, but they were afraid that Trump this would make him even more powerful. Like that kind of shit. Oh, God.
I hope
I don't get arrested again. Sorry, I got to go charge my ankle bracelet.
I hope that Biden doesn't lead us into war. I think one of the craziest things he said.
Look at Marge. Yeah, war. What is it good for? Russians beating Ukrainians. Yeah, that's what it's good for.
Last night, out loud,
he said out loud the truth.
Was talking about troops in Taiwan.
We have troops in Taiwan, fucko. We didn't have troops in Ukraine when Russia attacked. We have troops working with the Taiwanese right fucking now. If China were to attack when Pelosi was there, or now, or in 6 months, we have people there, which means China attacked Taiwan while our people were there, while we had Marines on the ground. You're fucking A right they would fire back or participate, or we would send in reinforcements. It's different.
It's like the way Donald Trump was able to keep peace
by whispering that I'll just let you take it. Just let me get my second term and it's all yours.
The communist Chinese, even as we were just kicking the stuffings out of them.
Yeah, they did retaliate with a bioweapon, according to you, though.
Tariffs.
It costs the world $15 trillion, whatever his argument is.
Economic aggression was to do the Teddy Roosevelt thing. It's like
walk softly and carry a big stick and give that stick to Kim Jong-un.
Walk softly, and they knew he carried a big stick. We got
not if they listened to the Stormy Daniels interview.
Joe Biden, Steve, doing just the opposite now. He's talking with braggadocio.
Yeah. Unlike the Chinese wolf warriors, who apparently, when they were being dicks in Alaska, really showed Biden's White House who's boss.
But all he does is show weakness, and it basically has catalyzed Putin's aggression. It's going to catalyze Xi Jinping's aggression, and I think these
into an ingot of aggression. I will use the stone of aggression to destroy my enemies. Achoo! Fuck, it fell apart. I don't know what happened.
In some sense, in this election, everybody's kind of forgotten about communist China.
Yeah. Who? I don't even remember what he's talking about. Is that near Vietnam?
As an issue, but we have to remember a lot of the problems we're facing at its core, all roads lead back to Beijing. So
yeah, and that $17 million that they gave to Trump in one night in that account that he had over there, and he took $15 million out in cash, which is weird for a billionaire. Like, why would you even bother? $17 million to a billionaire? That's chicken shit money. Unless, of course, you're not really a billionaire. Wait a second.
I hope we remember that.
Yeah, remember communist China bad during the election. Just think about that. Don't think about the infrastructure bill that passed. Pretend we're still in Afghanistan and China's got us by the short and curlies. Pretend it's the summer of 2020 and China has just bought the biggest order of beef, pork, and soybeans in their history while Americans are driving through parking lots picking up groceries because the economy's shut down. Think of it how...
In this November election, that we're reminded where that pandemic...
Yeah, we're going to be reminded, which is... it's a memory based on mime.
Came from. It came from communist China with the help of Dr. Fauci.
Well, let me...
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, God, yeah, can I say that? It came from communist China with the help of Dr. Fauci. All right. It wouldn't have come over here if it wasn't for him. And I mean, obviously fish stinks from the head. So whoever was president, I don't even remember.
Let me
Hang on. Let me go back to what Liz Harrington was saying about Democrats and something.
Let me start with MTG and then Liz. But MTG, you have said, and I think you were the first guy when.
Yeah, she was the first guy. Congressman MTG was the first guy he does this all the fucking time. He does it so often, I think he's fucking with her. I think he is misgendering her on purpose. I'm not kidding. He laughs in Mike Pillow's face when he knows he's using him for funds. And then he says, he calls her Congressman Greene. He says MTG and he says guy. You're one of the first guys. He does it on fucking purpose.
When only Navarro, myself, and a couple of others were still in D.C. on the afternoon of the 20th of January, 2021, when a lot of the other people had left. Are you?
Yeah, all the ones who were avoiding subpoenas.
When we win with these big margins in the House,
and after the unicorn farts liberty right in our face,
are you still prepared to move to start the investigations to impeach Joe Biden right off?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, she's going to have to put aside all the bills that actually help her constituents that she's been writing. Obviously, a lot of infrastructure stuff, a lot of trade, a lot of, making her district the sister district of Chechnya, of a small district in Chechnya where machetes are made. But yeah, I mean, she's obviously 2 weeks after she's done with her healthcare plan.
Off the bat.
Steve, what the fuck else do you think I do? I'm podcasting until then. It's not like, what do you think, I'm on a committee?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
We have to move and do that.
Yeah, we gotta move it.
It's absurd not to.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a dereliction of duty. I mean, I'm obviously going to have to, I'm gonna have to stop taking all those constituent calls and talking with them about their needs for our district in Georgia and handling those specifically. I'm going to have to put that on the back burner, Steve. Absolutely.
The only place that's not popular is right here in this town. The rest of the country,
everywhere I go with Matt Gaetz and children,
everybody wants to impeach Joe Biden. He is a complete and total disaster, from the border to what he did to this country and our military, how he shamed them in Afghanistan.
Oh, by not leaving them there?
To selling our strategic petroleum reserves. He is literally selling out all of our oil. And that is...
No, he's not. He's literally not.
That is such a danger for every single American. That's a national security crisis. Joe Biden should be impeached, and he should be impeached immediately when Republicans take back the House.
Well, I'm sold.
And to think.
Yeah. Well, obviously not something that Marge does.
That they disgraced the even act of impeachment by using it shamefully. And
on someone as pure as Donald John Trump. I mean, does that word even mean anything anymore?
Illegitimately. Against the greatest president we've had
ever. Yeah, fuck those founding fathers assholes who wrote the whole thing. And Lincoln. Who cares if Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act or Kennedy in the space program, Eisenhower, Roosevelt? Like, I mean, and don't get me started on the Republican greats. I mean, come on.
President Donald J. Trump over a perfect phone call where here is
she is she's not just his spokesperson, she's his stunt mouth.
Absolutely right about the corruption that still hasn't been rooted out with the Biden family, and he was impeached a second time for telling people to be peaceful.
Yeah, that's why. Not gathering them together and then trying to lead a coup against the government by saying, I'm going to go down there with you and we're going to go down there together, and not putting those remarks in his speech because that would have led to more security around the Capitol.
To be peaceful and object to an election that we all know was rigged and...
Yeah, and just in case that objection doesn't work, bring wood and build a gallows, because...
stolen, and we never got a chance to air the evidence out on Capitol Hill. So...
yeah, you've aired it everywhere else, and it's the word evidence that was the problem.
The idea that for all those things you mentioned, the fact that he's destroyed our border, shipped...
Wait, did Biden knock down the wall, or was that the wind?
Illegal aliens all across this country in the middle of the night, breaking our laws.
No, actually keeping our laws around asylum seekers and refugees and children especially.
The fact that he's self-dealing in China, the fact...
if he's self-dealing in China, why the fuck would he defend Taiwan?
That he's self-dealing in Ukraine.
Well, I mean, just he's on the side of democracy, which I think we're all self-dealing when it comes to Ukraine.
Sending all of this money over there.
Yeah, and God knows what they're doing with it. It's not like they're winning the war.
Money laundering, God knows what else.
Yeah, I think there's something about weapons and people not dying and starving, and transportation of people fleeing and then helping them get back, and some rebuilding and helping them make their bond payments so that they don't collapse as a government, and something about that. Mostly double dealing.
It is such a disgrace.
It's a disgrace. It's disgusting, and no one has ever seen anything like this before. I want to cut to like Trump in front of a microphone and talking into her earpiece. Say, don't, and nothing like this ever before we've ever seen it. Something like that. Nothing like we've never seen before. You're leaving out like we've never seen before.
And nobody's even talking about it.
No, you're not talking about it. She's not talking about it. Navarro's not talking. Steve Bannon's not on the air every day talking about it. It's almost as if the rest of us have heard it and found the argument wanting.
Except for you and maybe a handful of others.
Yes, Marge, you're alone in this. Sorry. I mean, you yammer on about it, but nobody's really listening to you. And certainly the worst thing is you talk about it all the time and you're not even convincing anyone. I mean, you're talking about it nonstop. And yet the field of people who believe this bullshit is not expanding. And I have to think, and pardon me if I may, Steve, 1 second, it's got to be your fault. I mean, I hate to kill the messenger here, but if the message is perfect, if it was a perfect phone call, maybe it's the phone's problem. You see what I'm saying? I don't want to...
Absolutely.
Let me offer Liz
yeah, jump in, because we're all starting to doze.
To have accountability.
MTG. Liz Harrington just brought up something you've been a big advocate of having real January 6th hearings, not the show trials that have epically failed so badly, but
yeah, those aren't show trials. Those are not even trials of the people involved.
Actually have a real series, a real committee, and I think you volunteered for it, to do January 6th. But on that January 6th, you talk about everything. You talk about Ashley Babbitt. You talk about the intelligence that Nancy Pelosi
the intelligence that Nancy Pelosi has and you lack.
Had. But particularly, we go back to the...
By the way, what was the intelligence that Nancy Pelosi had? What are you talking about? The whole purpose of him removing that line about going down to the Capitol was removed from the written version of the speech so that the Parks Department and the Capitol Police and the mayor's office would not take extra measures for security. They did it on purpose.
Beginning, we go back to 3 November. Do you believe that committee can be set up in the new Congress where we actually adjudicate?
Fuckhead, she got elected on the 3rd of November in 2020. If you throw out the election, especially the Georgia election, she has to step down.
What you and all the other congressmen and senators were not able to do for those...
When you got elected on that date and Trump lost his job.
24 hours, 12 hours in each house, that you would actually have the opportunity to put forward the real information and the
No.
real data.
She'll say yes, but no.
So we can show the entire world that Joe Biden's illegitimate and that those electors must be decertified.
Yeah, that'll happen.
In an official.
Yeah, and if you're riding, a bald eagle that farts red, white, and blue glitter and eats nothing but American flags and shits freedom, do you think you could fly that right into the dome?
Capacity in Congress in a hearing, ma'am.
Ma'am. Well, at least he calls her ma'am.
I would love to do that, Steve.
That would be so awesome. I mean, I can't. But it'd be great. Wouldn't that be great? That'd be so great. I mean, I'm only in, this is my first term, so, and I'm not on any committees, and I wouldn't have any idea how to write up anything even remotely close to that, but that would be awesome.
I would love it. It would take
So
a lot
great.
of courage from my colleagues, but I'm on board with that.
Or a lot of gullibility and a total wanton disregard for their own careers.
From day one. You know, it was a real failure.
From day one, you wanted to upend the November election from 2020 when you got your job. Obviously, it was fraudulent, especially Georgia, right?
To the American people.
How does that not a thing? How's not every time she brings this shit up? How's there not somebody just like climb up over that fucking rail and go, moron, you got elected on that election. If it's fraudulent, how can you claim legitimacy as an elected member of Congress? Why haven't you stepped down in protest? All right.
Let's spell this out.
Yeah, okay. Uh-oh. She's going to try to spell.
For the dummies that watch your show and then attack.
Ouch. I hope she's talking about me. I think she is. Although she might be just talking about the general audience.
Attack you constantly.
No dummies watch the War Room, by the way.
Well, no.
No, she means the ones that attack him. Because obviously lots of people are attacking Steve Bannon all the time, pointing out how wrong he is and how dumb he is. And obviously, I mean, there's lots of them. Almost the entire audience.
The enemies, they love to watch War Room.
The guys on the left. Yeah.
Monitor this
No,
show.
media matters. Media matters. Hold it. Media
Shut up. We have to interrupt. Shut up.
matters and Mediaite. Media matters and Mediaite watch it nonstop.
Oh, they watch it
So good.
nonstop. They do.
Yeah, they do. Nonstop.
Okay, so this-
He's checking his notes. He's already bored. Just move. Yeah, keep talking. Next time you want to have her on, no, thank you. Thank you.
This is for them. The taxpayers pay for the elections. The taxpayers pay for the machines. They pay
Right.
for the ballots.
Right. And we don't want random fuckos who think it didn't go their way breaking into those machines.
They pay for the people that work in the elections.
No, a lot of them are volunteers.
The American people own the elections because the American people are
Yeah, it's a product.
the taxpayers.
And we have some right to quality control, and we would like it to be modern and up to date.
The American people are the voters.
Since when?
They deserve to have the evidence shown in a congressional hearing. They deserve that. This
Or lack thereof, I suppose.
isn't about Republican and Democrat.
No, this is the greatest revival for Jesus Christ. She pulls her mask off, and it's Mike Lindell.
It's about the American people. And it
And
is
then he pulls his mask off, and he's Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's why Steve Bannon keeps saying dude and guy and shit like that, because it's actually Mike Pillow in drag.
their right to have that shown in a hearing. And then we want to go a step further. I want to go a lot further, actually,
Yeah.
Steve.
I want to, I still have the gallows.
Nancy Pelosi, she had the intelligence reports weeks before January 6th saying that there was going to be problems that day, that people had plans. And I want you to know that she pushed them aside. She went and enjoyed Christmas. I'm sure her and Paul had a lot to drink. Then she went
Oh.
and enjoyed New Year's Eve, and I'm sure they had God knows how much to drink.
I see, because he had a DUI, and so that means they're both drunks.
But seriously, though, she's the one that failed us all, failed the entire country, and because she refused the request of President Trump, who
That never happened. This is all a fiction.
wanted one of the National Guard there.
Yeah, no, he did not.
He requested it way
No, he did not.
ahead of time.
No, he did not. This is like a floating lie. This is like, it's a floater. Every time you flush, this lie comes back up.
And everybody else agreed with him, but it's Nancy Pelosi. She's number one, target number one for
Yikes.
January 6th. And this sham committee here, right behind us in this Capitol, they said she is protected. This so-called January 6th committee, where Liz Cheney sold her soul and her whole entire political career, they said Nancy Pelosi is protected, but she will not be protected under a Republican-controlled majority.
Well, yeah, especially if it's majority controlled by someone who was in direct phone contact with people who built the gallows on that day.
And the
allegedly
committees and the hearings that we're going to do, Nancy Pelosi will not be protected.
MTG, it goes a step further. It wasn't that she's off vacation. I want to know whether there was intention. The only thing that could have stopped the Green Bay sweep, as Steve Bannon called it, the legal counting of the votes under the legal...
The only thing that could have stopped it was a mob. They let the mob in on purpose.
Protests...
Or Mike Pence refusing to see it.
The Electoral Count Act was exactly what happened.
No, actually, Mike Pence didn't buy into that shit. What would have made the Green Bay sweep work is if Mike Pence was in on the plan and did it. The fact that he didn't is exactly why they attacked. I don't know why the fuck they leave that part out other than it's inconvenient and stupid.
So, yeah, let's get to the bottom of January 6th.
Dude, you were at the bottom.
Why did Pelosi leave the perimeter unguarded?
Because she didn't think there would actually be an attack, because that's insane.
Why was the National Guard so far away that it couldn't respond? And hey, back to the FBI. Why is it there appears to have been FBI informants possibly instigating violence?
There weren't.
This is what I wanted.
I would love to know that. I mean, it's been covered and everyone talks about it. But Mike Epps, Mike Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was there, and he whispered in someone's ear and made them climb over and attack a police officer.
No. And by the way, I mean, the
yeah, Steve's just out.
FBI, I want to know why this plot against the president to stop him from even running by building a criminal hoax against him. Will that not, Marjorie Taylor Greene, be a subject of an investigation?
It absolutely should be a subject.
Yeah, it should. We should look into that. We should look into... right now, by the way, Trump and all of his lawyers are like, no!
You think the Republican Congress will have the courage to do that?
I don't know. I mean, Republicans are chicken shit, weaklings, no spine, can't get anything done. You heard Trump.
I'm disappointed in them.
Really? Me too.
In the past. I mean,
yeah, I know. No infrastructure bill, no health care bill, left us in Afghanistan, never even tried to get us out.
Sat through 4 years in
of the Trump administration. Of nothing.
Watching Lindsey Graham sit on his friggin' gavel, saying he was...
Well, I am not surprised to hear a story of Lindsey Graham sitting on his gavel. That's not surprising at all. Obviously, handle up.
Was going to do something, never did anything.
Never.
And nothing ever happened.
Just all he did was golf with Trump and defend him everywhere.
Happened in the House. Is this going to be different, ma'am?
They allowed the Russia hoax. They enabled it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Republicans are probably the worst. If I were you, I would work to keep those guys from getting elected. I mean, by comparison, Dems are nothing.
And they sat back with their hands crossed
and their gavel up their ass.
Watched it. No, you're 100%.
Yeah, fuck those people. Fuck the Republicans and all of...
No, Republican-controlled Congress better have the backbone and spine, and I'll tell you why. Our voters will not give us a chance in 2024 if we don't do our job that they're giving us to do, hiring us to do.
Yeah, so far, they don't seem convinced right now.
When we take back the House in 2023.
Take back Trump's America.
Oh, I guess you means January when they're sworn in.
I know you got to...
I know, MTG, I know you got to bounce. But you're the tip of the spear, armor-piercing shell.
Trumpism.
MTG's got to bounce. MTG and Liz too. MTG, what's your social media? How do people get to you, ma'am?
Oh, ma'am. You can watch my MTG live show.
Well, I'm on Getter, I'm on Truth Social, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. Everyone just look for Real Marjorie Greene, Real MTG, or Rep MTG, verified accounts only, and you'll be able to find me.
Yeah. Don't go to those mock accounts, which say what I really believe.
Truth Social, I'm at
Liz,
Real Liz
last-
USA. And one more point, I mean, the FBI can box in Mike Lindell at a Hardee's in the middle of nowhere. Maybe they could,
That's his hometown. Don't call it the middle of nowhere. It's 6 miles from the middle of nowhere.
find out who
It's on your way to nowhere. You will pass right through.
those pipe bombers were.
Yeah.
Oh, looking right at her when she says it. Look at Navarro like, oh.
Or
Just a
what
thought.
about Ray Epps? Ray Epps, everybody.
Yeah, Ray Epps. Everybody. What about Ray Epps, guys? Asked and answered.
Hold it.
No-brainer.
Yes, that's a no-brainer. No one with a brain actually gives that any thought.